Hi, esteemed listeners, Titi Lope Fadari here again to give you a recap of stories in the past week in a more relaxed way. Nigeria has a new chief of army staff after the sad death of Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru, who died in an air crash alongside 10 other gallant men of the Nigerian army last week. His Major General Farouk Yahaya becomes the 26th man to hold that position since 1966 and the third appointee under President Muhammadu Buhari. Until his appointment, the new army chief was the theater commander of Operation Hadinkai, the counter-insurgency operation in the northeast. And what that means is that he is a frontline soldier and Nigerians would hope he remains so, leading from the battlefront at the heart of the war, rather than commanding from Abuja, may be a game changer in the war against terror. As expected, many reactions have trailed his appointment, valid concerns too. In spite of this, we can find a common ground because if the military succeeds, Nigeria succeeds, and if it fails, we fail. Rain, as we know, does not fall on one roof alone. I'm sure the new chief of staff knows that to whom much is given, much is expected. It was fearless veteran musician Fela that said, "Double wahala for dead body" in one of his songs, and that line became the case of Abidemi Rufai, former aide of Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun, who was alleged to have defrauded more than 100 Washington residents by using forged identities to steal more than $350,000 in unemployment COVID-19 benefits from them. He was seeking bail when the United States Department of Justice wrote to the United States Magistrate Judge in Eastern District of New York, claiming that the surety provided by Mr. Rufai was also a suspected fraudster. Wow. The court has now denied him bail. Wahala be like what? Bicycle. In short, if you cannot do the time, don't do the crime because there is no shortcut to the top of a palm tree. The £4.2 million stolen by former Delta State Governor James Ibori has been returned to Nigeria from the UK. That was the same thief Nigerian courts could not convict. Well, that's a story for another day. The Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, has now said the recovered loot would be sent to Delta State after the issues around it are resolved. The £4.2 million was stolen by former Delta Governor James Ibori and lodged in UK accounts. Mr. Ibori was convicted in the UK for money laundering and has served his term. He is back in Nigeria where he is actively involved in politics of Delta State as a godfather. When he returned, he was met with fanfare and celebrated as a hero. That says much about how we celebrate crime as a people. But those who celebrate crime and the criminals themselves should remember that the axe may forget its struck, but the tree never forgets. Again, should we say Femi Adesina, the presidential aide's prayer that the village people after the progress of Nigeria should lose has been answered? Well, this week, the special advisor to the governor of Nasarawa State on infrastructure, Yusuf Musa, was arrested for his alleged role in the vandalism of railway tracks. He was arrested alongside suspected accomplices, Richard Joseph, an inspector of police, Mali Peter, a sergeant, Ibrahim Usman, an official of Nigeria's Security and Civil Defense Corps, Mohammed Isiaka, a former supervisory councillor on education, official of Nasarawa Egon local government area, Maratai, a manager of a Chinese steel company in Abuja, and Samuel Shagbao, a staff of the Nigerian Railway Corporation. The police said the suspects have turned the Nigerian railway tracks that traverse from major cities and villages in Nasarawa State en route to Benue State to gold mines where they vandalize and cut away rail tracks. This further confirms the saying of the wise that if there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do no harm. As always, this edition was written by Yusuf Akinpelu. I am Titi Lope Fadari. See you next week. And before I leave, be the Nigerian you want Nigeria to be, because if you think you're too small to make a difference, try spending the night with a mosquito. And do not forget, if you like this podcast, please share and favorite. Visit premiumtimesnj.com to catch the latest edition of this podcast series.